Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your favorite program, Voice of the Priest Against Corruption. My name is Oche Ocheme. It is a program of the Priest Peace and Justice Initiative, PPJ, mobilizing Christians against corruption in Nigeria, focusing on the Pentecostal Assembly, with a strong support from the MacArthur Foundation and the entire Priest Assembly family. Fraud and corruption are two most dangerous things that can bring down any workplace very easily. Most of the companies, offices, departments, organizations and different workplaces are facing this problem, and because of these issues, the common people and the working of the organization get adversely affected. If not stopped or identified at the right time, then it can even let the organization fall forever and the business will get totally stopped. When we return back, today we'll be looking at how to deal with the pressure of corruption in the workplace. As a young Christian, how can you stay in a corruption infested community or environment and choose to stand out? Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, this is your program, Voice of the Priest Against Corruption. Let's understand, every time we talk about corruption or fraud, what is a fraud? A fraud activity can be termed as the deceitful acts done by any working member of an organization or the company which actually causes financial and other type of property losses to the third party. One of the most common fraud in the business sector is the misuse of the documentation without taking any higher authorities' permission. I'll give you a typical example. Ignorantly, once I was in an organization and I wanted to do my book launch, and I used the company's letterhead to write a letter, an invitation letter to other people, extending invitation using the company letterhead. My superior discovered it, and I was really cautioned not to do that again. And of course, I learned my lesson that day. Now, for most of us, we don't know when to draw the line between what is personal and what is official. Now, let's look at corruption. Corruption can be explained as the fraudulent activity that is done by any working member of the organization so that he or she can gain some external financial or other benefit, such as conniving with the vendors to hike the price, thereby cheating or defrauding the organization. A story was told of a young man who was stealing something from the organization. Every now and then, the security put in place is extremely strict, and so before you leave, you'll be properly checked. And so every day, the young man, upon closing, will fetch sand in a bowl, in a polythene bag, dropped it in a wheelbarrow, and go out of the premise. Now, when he gets to the checkpoint, the security will get worried, like, okay, what are you holding? Let me check what is in that polythene bag. They'll check and they'll discover that, oh, it's just an ordinary sand, and they'll allow him to go out. He kept doing that for 2 months. And so eventually, he left the organization. He got back. The security asked him, "Sir, I know you're leaving. I am curious. What have you been doing with those sand, that particular sand that you've been taking every now and then out of the office premise? What do you need the sand for? You don't need to steal the sand. Definitely you're not stealing the sand. So why do you keep taking the sand out?" And then he reminded the security personnel that, "Listen, I wasn't stealing the sand. What I was stealing was wheelbarrow. Every time I move out, your emphasis, your focus was on the sand. But what I was actually going out with is a wheelbarrow. And you can imagine the number of wheelbarrows he has been stealing." As a young person, as a Christian, in the place of work, where corruption is extremely high, the tendency is for you to get soaked into the crowd, to get mixed into the crowd, to get drawn in. But Bible admonishes us to stand out. That in a house there are vessels, some unto honor and some unto dishonor. And if you preserve yourself, kept to be used for the master's use. What that means is, everywhere you find yourself, you are a representative of God. And God expects you to stand out. Yet, we are bombarded by pressures every now and then. One of my good friends who was privileged to be the head of admin and finance in a reputable organization, when he got in newly, our vendors approached him left, right, and center and said, you know, this is the status quo. This is what we used to do. Now, when we supply things, we hike the price, or we reduce the quantity so that we can give you the difference. He looked at them in the face and said, because you have done this, I will remove your name from the... They offered him to say, this is what was obtainable. We will also let you have it. He refused. And of course, he was seriously pressured. But because he knew whom he is, he knew what he stands for, he knew that he could do this and he may never be caught, but he will give accounts to God. So as a young man, to be able to withstand the pressure of corruption in the place of work, one, you must have an attitude of contentment. You must be contented. I mean, before you take up a job, you know the salary status, you know what your entitlement. You should have planned your life on how you're going to manage whatever resources is due to you. The challenge is when people allow greed to come into their life, then the tendency to compromise becomes very easy. As a matter of fact, I've often argued here that greed is insatiable. It is like a bottomless pit. You can never fill it. The more you have it, the more you want it. The more you have it, the more you want it. So as a person, as a young person, as a Christian, as a Pentecostal person in any place of work, you must stand out. You must make up your mind that for me, I am satisfied with whatever is due to me. Does that mean you should become complacent? Does that mean you should become lazy? Does that mean you should become stagnant? Not at all. Of course, you must aspire to grow. You must aspire to grow. As a matter of fact, when you refuse to indulge in the acts of corruption in the place of work, you may be stigmatized for a while. But trust me, Bible made us to understand that promotion does not come from the east, from the west, from the north, or from the south. But promotion comes from God. Have you not heard stories of how people refuse to compromise and over time God promotes them? Even if you don't get promoted, your reward is with God. And even if you don't get the reward, you have peace of mind. You know, my good friend, architect Felix Arume once said, he made a statement and I found it to be very true. He said, if you decide to make men your standard bearer, in other words, if you decide to make men as your accountability watchword, then you can easily compromise. In other words, when men are no longer seeing you, you can compromise. But if you make God your watcher, if you decide to be accountable to God, whether people are looking or not, you will hold yourself firm and accountable to God. What other thing can you do? As a person, as a Christian in an organization, you must be focused. You must be focused on what is the big picture. What is your goal? What is your role? What are you expected to do? I mean, at every point where you are employed, you are given expected role. You should maintain your role. Do what is expected of you, and what is due to you will come to you. Then you must be hardworking. Now, hardworking does not necessarily mean hard labor. You must be smart. There are other things you can do to be able to meet up, to make ends meet. For instance, if you're a salary earner, you know what is expected of you. If you can do one or two other side work that can bring you one or two a little income, why not? You can do that. By so doing, you will find that you are contented. You are satisfied with wherever you are part-time, while you expect things to get better. Ladies and gentlemen, as Christians, as sons and daughters of the Most High God, God expects so much of us. He holds us in high esteem and He expects us to represent Him wherever we find. Till I come your way next week, my name remains Oche Ocheme, saying, shun corruption. Even at the place of work, stand out. For more information, you can visit our website www.priestassembly.org or email us at info@priestassembly.org, Twitter at priestassembly.org, Facebook, facebook.com/priestassembly, and of course we're on Instagram at priestassembly. Phone number 0905 159 0284. 0905 159 0284. God bless you.
Yeah. Why my people just suffer? Why we no get like the rich be getting richer, the poor getting poorer? Tell me what's the reason? It's corruption, corruption. But I will never be corrupted. Corruption. But I will never be corrupted. I'm in the building, about to get this colon. Some of these ladies think we're foolish, so I had to do this. I had to do this to let them know we know what they're doing. They promise to be changeable when they know they cannot do it. Now this ain't no this song to my